Hymn number 153. Yes?
110.
Hymn number 110 will be our last one. discussion. At this time, I'll turn the meeting over to Brother Dillard and Brother Martin.
I think it's already time. It was already time a few minutes ago, but we are still waiting for some brethren from Toronto that are joining us. So I'd like to invite all of you for this purpose of the experiences and testimonies meeting. We will sing one hymn, 521, When Upon Life's Billows. 521. Please rise.
To our tempest tossed, when you are discouraged, thinking all is lost, count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, say what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. Are you ever burdened with a load of care? Does the cross seem heavy you are called to bear? Count your many blessings, every doubt will fly, and you will be singing as the days go by. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. When you look at others with their lamps and gold, think that Christ has promised you His wealth untold. Count your many blessings, money cannot buy. Your reward in heaven, though your gold blind. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. So amid the conflict, whether great or small, do not be discouraged, God is over all. Count your many blessings, angels be at hand. Heaven comfort give you to your journey's end. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done.
For those of us that can kneel down, I'd like to ask us to kneel for prayer. I'd like to ask Sister Ivanka Lasica to lead us in prayer.
Dragi Oče naš, ovoga časa dolazimo pred sveto otničko lice Tvoje, da Ti odamo čast, slavu i hvalu što si nas skupio ovdje iz daljega bližega, da možemo Tvoje sveto ime slaviti i hvaliti. Pa se predamo u tvoje svete ruke da nas ti vodiš svojim svetim duhom i upravljaš sa nama, da bi mogli napred u tvoju svetu istinu, da možemo tvoju svetu subotu sretkovati i tebe slaviti. Hvala. Molim da ti nam pomozi sad ovdje spusti se u našu sredinu, tvoj sveti blagoslov da bio nad nama, da bi činili ono što je tvoja sveta volja u svetom sada času. Ti nam pomozi, vodi nas i štiti kako nas, tako naše mile i drage koji su nam blizu, leko ti čuvaj. Našu djecu, mamu i veliku Isuse, dragi, ti im pomozi. Nemoj zaboraviti jednu dušu koja je bolesna, žalosna, usamljena, koja nema slobode vratni kao mi. Pomozi se, dragi, i ostane s nama da bi mi mogli biti s tobom za uvijek i vječito. Amin.
Amen.
I'm glad that some of the brethren from Toronto could join us for this special meeting. Actually, we are used to have, and it's a practice. We have young people's meeting, and we have youth weekends, we have camp meetings, we have annual conferences. But this is a special meeting. It's dedicated, and it's called the meeting for experiences and testimonies. And we would like to hear today from some brothers and sisters, and especially those that have immigrated. They came from some communist countries. Some of them have gone through some difficult times. I believe some of them, they were put in prison for the reason of faith, and we will hear some of those experiences today as well. And also, as you have heard last Sabbath, we heard from Brother Daniel his experience of conversion when he was born. He was born from his parents as they were believers, but he had to go through a tough experience in life, but he experienced the experience of conversion. So we'll hear today some very touchy experiences, I would say, from some of our members, from some of our loved people that they have experienced personally, how they came to the knowledge of the truth. And I think the main purpose, like to say, the idea to hold such a meeting, I know Sister Ivana would not like to be mentioned, but I'd like to say that it was her idea that we would have one Sabbath afternoon to dedicate for experiences and testimonies, and I think this was a great idea. It's a good encouragement for our youth, for our younger generation, and for those that were here for the morning worship. I have mentioned that Satan is trying to steal the next generation in every time and age. So he's trying to do the same today. But I think that these experiences will bring more courage and will give, will leave an impact on our younger generation, our children, grandchildren, youth, and so forth. As a child, I remember I have lost already years ago all of my grandparents from my father's side and mother's side. But on my father's side, the last grandparent, it was my grandpa on father's side. He was a veteran of war, Second World War. He was not a believer when he was fighting in the Second World War. And I remember his stories. I remember his experiences. He used to tell me he never wore a tie. He never wore a tie. But when he would go to church, he said he would call me and say, "Look, you never go and not organized. You put everything in order." He says, "When I was in the army, when I was at war, we had 1 minute to get up, to get organized, and you come before the general in the uniform. You don't come as you." So he said, when you go to church, present yourself presentably as before God. Amen. He was not an educated man, but he left an impact on us. Not just on me, on the other cousins I have, and many other stories. I regret and up until today that I didn't record some of them because I would like to go and listen again. But for our younger generation, I think this is an opportunity to hear it firsthand from some of our members who are with more experience, or some of our younger members who are, and that they have gone through some experiences or of conversion, coming to the Lord, and so forth. So today we have, as I said, few brethren. We'll have also some instrumental and some music. But I'd like to call first Brother Joe Zik Sr. He also came from the old country of Yugoslavia, and coming from a family where the father was a minister in our church, and his brother was, well, he's a retired minister, I would say. He also has got to share something which would be beneficial for all of us, and especially for our youth. So, Brother Joe, you will go first today and share with us your experience.
Thank you. And as you said, brother, it runs in the family because my son also is an ordained minister of the faith. And I would have liked my mother-in-law to come first before me, but she wanted to be second because she has a true conversion experience, which in a way I lack. Her experiences are much greater than mine. Like many of you among us, I never had a conversion experience because I was born converted. My parents were converted before I was born. In their early 20s, they came to know the Lord, and they were baptized. And then right away they went into call for tree, and soon after my father was ordained as a minister and continued until his retirement also. At my baptism, which happened when I was 17 years old, I did not have to go through the principles of faith because they were ingrained in me from my early childhood. But that did not mean that I did not have spiritual struggles. For my inquisitive spirit was not satisfied to simply believe what we believe, but why, how, and when we came to believe what we believe. That was important to me, and it is even today. Unlike some of you sitting among us, I did not have to suffer for my faith. I had a few experiences in that line. I remember when I was 12 or 13 years old, my teacher asked me, do your parents forbid you to go on Sabbath to school? At that time, Sabbath attendance was compulsory. And I said, no, my father and mother, they would let me go, but I believe that the Sabbath is a day of rest according to what we believe and according to what it is written in the Bible. And I had many other experiences. I could write a book, but I will mention just one thing. I was sitting with my father. I don't remember it was in the train or in the bus station or whatever. And my father was sharing his faith with the one that was sitting at our bench. And the man said at that time the atheist religion was the official religion of the country. He said, old man, nothing will come out of that. There is no God, there is no word in afterlife. And I remember my father replying, he said, well, even if it might be what you said that is true, which I don't believe it is true, He said, I lose nothing in this life, and I believe what it is true, that I believe what, he said, I will gain everything. That I still remember. Now, as I said, I was 20 years old when I came to this country, and I am here for 51 years. And going down memory lane, I can reflect down the corridor of time on many events and many friends, brothers and sisters that are not among us today. They have passed away or moved away, or many have passed away. For the sake of time, there are many more that would like to share their faith. I would like to be short, and I will end by with the memory of my mother. As she worked, she always used to sing. Whether it was household chores or in the garden, she was constantly singing one song or another. And one song is stuck in my memory that I know it was her favorite song. And I would just like to read in Hebrew creation the first line of that song. It says, in our own language, kao što zvezde pred svetlošću zore. Kao što... Kao što zvezde pred svetlošću zore moraju tada da iščeznu sve. Tako će jednom i tvoj život proći, samo rad ljubavi tad ostaće. I have taken liberty to translate that song into the English language, as we don't have that song in the English language. And I will read to you the first verse. As do the stars in the brightness of morning vanish from sight in the void of the sky. One day our life on this earth will be over. Only the works of our love will remain. My favorite song in the English language is the Old Rugged Cross, but we will share this song with you today, As Do the Stars. And I would like those that have been so good and kind to practice with us to come here and sing. And those that know music, if they would like to follow, they are free to follow with violins or whatever instrument they might have. Follow with violins. Remember, between every verse, we repeat the last line, okay? And then we continue on to the next. Yeah, we sing the first, and we will sing the first verse in Serbo-Croatian language, and then we will continue in the English language.
Push those first, they will sweet, wash those all.
First of all, I would like to thank the Lord for leading me thus far. May His name, and to His name, be glory now and forever. Amen. Amen.
And to show our thanks to Brother Joe, Joe, we'd like to present you with this little token. Hope you enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so the next person on our item? Okay, good, thank you. So the next person to present their testimony will be Sister Ivanka Lasica, and I believe Teteteki will be, sorry? Oh, William, okay, William will be translated.
Želim da vas pozdravim sa stihom koji kaže Bog ne nam Gospod pomože.
I would like to greet you all with the verse that says, "After here, God has helped us."
Gospodin me je zamolio da ispričam nešto o mome obraćenju.
Brother Doran has asked me to say a few words about my conversion.
Kao dijete odrasla sam u pobožnoj katoličkoj familiji.
As a child, I have grown up in a very religious Catholic family.
Kao mlada ja sam služila iskreno služila da služim Bogu.
As a young lady, I truly and wanted to serve God.
To sam činila cijelim srcem, čitajući molitvena predavanja. Izdržala da sam onoga što piše, ako pročitaš ovu lekciju kaže, greše su ti oprošteni 30 dana.
Okay, and I have done that with all my heart by reading the prayer book. And I have kept everything that it said in it, and I have believed that what it said, that if you read that book, all your sins will be forgiven for 30 days. Yeah, it was a prayer book. I'm not sure what's the English word for the prayer book, Catholic prayer book.
Nedavno sam išla u crkvu, slušajući molitvu popa.
I have